Okay, good afternoon. All right, y'all. Just a second. Can you all see my screen? Okay, there we go. All right, y'all. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. My name is Callan Baggett. I'm the Assistant Commissioner for the Public Information and Legislative Office for the Department of Human Services. And thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate your time, and we will try to move as expeditiously as possible through it. And I will just dive right in. So, all right, there we go. So what we have on the agenda today is that we're going to introduce the Healthy Snap team, go over what is the status of the waiver in Tennessee, and what you all can do as our partners in the implementation of this waiver. So we're just going to dive right in. Again, my name is Callan Baggett. I'm the Assistant Commissioner for the Public Information and Legislative Office. I deal for the Department of Human Services. I deal predominantly with our legislative team, our communications team, and our customer service team in communicating with the broader public and our customers on what's going on at the department. I'm joined by two fantastic team members, Kiana Carter and Danielle Cotton. Kiana is our director for SNAP and DSNAP in the state and has been very vital for us to have some boots on the ground as we look at SNAP policy. And then Danielle is the reason why everything looks good, sounds good, and is clear communication. She is our public information officer for the department and mainly deals with media, but we have used her excellent skill set to help us here. So I'm going to walk through what we've been doing over the past almost year and where we are today. About late summer, early fall last year, Governor Lee asked USDA to participate. He submitted two separate waivers. So I'm going to talk about the whole focus of today's webinar is our Healthy Snap waiver, which is also called an exclusionary waiver. We did also submit an inclusionary waiver, and some might call it the hot foods. It's been, or the rotisserie chicken waiver is what it's been called in some other states. For us, we called it prepared poultry. I do want to go ahead and say USDA has not made a decision on that waiver at this time. So today we will solely be focusing on the exclusionary waiver. Before I begin, I want to give a thank you to the Tennessee Grocers Association, the Tennessee Retailers Association, and the Tennessee Fuel and Convenience Store Association for their input throughout this process. They've been providing us great feedback and have been very much our trusted partners in this process and have given us some great feedback as we've moved forward. So we submitted our waiver in October, I believe, of last year. And on December 10th of this year of 2025, Secretary Rollins approved Tennessee's request to participate in the Healthy Snap 2-year pilot program. This waiver will exclude certain foods and beverages from being eligible for purchase with SNAP EBT cards. And I'm going to go ahead and skip to the next slide and walk through what's changing and why we're doing it. Number one, Tennessee is committed to promoting the health and well-being of families who participate in the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. And we know y'all are partners in that space. And so we wanted to do this retail webinar to walk through the changes with you all. Again, this will only apply to SNAP customers in Tennessee who use their SNAP benefits at SNAP authorized retailers. The waiver will exclude certain foods and beverages from being eligible for purchase with SNAP EBT cards. Certain foods and beverages that list sugar or high fructose corn syrup as a first ingredient will no longer be eligible for purchase using SNAP benefits. And if I can just back up and explain, this waiver is for a 2-year pilot demonstration. So the waiver will technically expire in 2 years. And every state, I believe there's 20-ish states that have applied for a waiver. So each state has a different approach to it. So that's why you may hear, if you're a bigger grocery store or you're on a state line in Tennessee, there may be a different waiver in Virginia than there is in Upper East Tennessee. Our waiver is specifically based on the ingredients label, and so that will be how retailers and customers will know what's eligible and not eligible. Again, this will start on July 31st of this year and will go for 2 years. You'll hear me say July 31st a lot today. And it will apply to all authorized SNAP retailers in the state of Tennessee, including online retailers. So I want to walk through eligible versus non-eligible items. We will not be producing a list, but as always, SNAP eligible items include things like fruits and vegetables, poultry, meat, fish, dairy, cereal, bread, snack foods, plants and seeds, infant formula, and I will come back to that one, and then also single ingredient sugars for cooking and baking. So like a just raw sugar will be eligible for purchase. What will not be eligible is food items that have sugar, cane sugar, corn syrup, or high fructose corn syrup listed as the first ingredient. So those items will not be eligible. We'll have an example later on, but if it has sugar as the first word, then it is not eligible for SNAP purchase. Beverages have to have carbonated water and sugar, cane sugar, corn syrup, and high fructose corn syrup as the first 2 ingredients. So it has to be carbonated and has to be, essentially think of it as a high calorie option. So an example would be a Coke, the red traditional bottle, is not eligible, but a Diet Coke, because it has carbonated water, but it does not have sugar, cane sugar, corn syrup, or high fructose corn syrup as the second ingredient. Therefore, Diet Coke is eligible. So Coke not eligible, Diet Coke is eligible. Gatorade or Powerade or BioLite, those are eligible because they are not carbonated. A lemonade is not carbonated. So therefore, those are eligible. Chocolate milk, not carbonated. So again, that's how customers and retailers will distinguish that difference. Retailer responsibilities. As a partner with us, we do have some expectations. We have been doing every 2 weeks, our team meets with Food and Nutrition Services staff, both in the national office and our regional office, to walk through implementation as we get closer. And it feels we've gotten some guidance on what the retailer responsibilities and expectations are. So the expectations are that you will ensure compliant items are purchased with SNAP funds, just as you do today. Updating point of sale systems to block unauthorized purchases, train retail staff about the change, work with TDHS and or USDA to ensure compliance, and notify TDHS if the retailer is unable to comply. As I stated earlier, we've been working on this for quite some time. A lot of other states have actually already gone live with their implementation waiver. We chose to wait until July to provide some additional education to our partners, including you all. But that has also allowed us to get some questions on the front end that we can help answer. So the biggest question from our stakeholders have been, what does compliance and monitoring look like? And so I do want to emphasize that the compliance and monitoring will be done by USDA, as is the current custom now with monitoring SNAP compliance. So DHS will not be in charge of compliance and monitoring. FNS drafted a memo on December 30th of 2025 clarifying what the policy would be. It is a national policy that applies to all states that have a waiver in place. So we have linked it for you on this document, on this PowerPoint, which we will be sending out after the process or after the presentation is over. SNAP EBT reminders, these are things that we're asking that you clearly post flyers around the store to display the changes being implemented, periodically check your equipment, and contact your third-party processor if you have any experience with any technical issues. We will be, as I'll get to it later, but we have some resources for retailers and a retailer toolkit that I think will be helpful in posting signage around your stores that is DHS branded so that folks know the Department of Human Services is the one who is working through this. By virtue of being here, you obviously got our invitation via email. And the way that we created that contact list is actually from Food and Nutrition Services. They sent us every authorized retailer within the state and a contact for them. So that is how you received the email, in case you were wondering why you were on our email list. But most importantly, the thing that I want to emphasize today is that the attestation form was also attached to that email. We have to have that for each store and each authorized retailer by July 31st, 2026. So that we can confirm that you've acknowledged your compliance with the implemented changes. And it's a simple form to fill out. We just need your signature and your store name, date, name, title, store name, and a contact phone and email. This is really important for FNS compliance later on down the road. You will just send that back to us via email to the Healthy Snap TN email. So thank you in advance for getting that in. We will be tracking responses and we'll be reaching out if we've not heard from you. So thank you again. You may also be wondering, how are we going to communicate this to the broader public and to our customers? We have a number of resources and plans to communicate to customers. The first is obviously our website. This is for the broader public. We've got information up there already about what this waiver is and some frequently asked questions. We do have our contact center as well that customers are very familiar with that phone number. They can call and talk to an agent and ask their questions there. We have our One DHS customer portal where we will implement some banner messaging. This is the customer portal that folks apply for SNAP or any of our other services. And so we will have banner messaging that will link to that Healthy SNAP webpage. And that address is in the lower right corner of the screen. I think personally, most importantly, we're going to be having direct text messages to our customers telling them that this will go live on July 31st. So they will receive a direct text message from the department if they're opted in. And then we'll also have a demonstration video as well. Okay, so I talked about it earlier, but I do want to highlight what an eligible item looks like versus a non-eligible item. So I want to highlight, if you look on the left side example with the green check mark, eligible ingredients, look at the ingredients label and see that enriched flour is the first ingredient, therefore it is an eligible product. On the right side, you will see non-eligible ingredients, and ingredients as sugar is the first item. So that is the way that a customer will know what is eligible as well as a retailer. We have tried to keep this as straightforward as possible, and I'll be addressing that as well later on about simplicity and explanation. And also we did include, this is an example of a sign, we did include the QR code that will link back to the Healthy Snap webpage as well. As I mentioned earlier, available on our webpage currently, there is tools and resources for retailers. It's going to have Healthy Snap branded Tennessee logos, banners, flyers, signage for your store, social media graphics, flings, and QR codes, so that you all can post this around your stores, at your cash register, in the aisles, post it on your social media as well, and we'll be posting it on ours to help raise that visibility so that our customers are aware, as well as your staff. That is accessible on our website. I'll show you some examples here. Again, you can clearly see that all of our customer-facing documents for your signage does have that QR code that will link back to that Healthy Snap webpage so that folks can pull up their smartphones if they're standing in the aisle and figure out what's going on immediately. Okay, so I should say we've been monitoring the chat as you all have been we've been monitoring the chat as I've been talking. We will be reviewing those questions that have been posted in the chat and sending out a document with those questions addressed and making sure that we answer all those questions. But as we've had some questions, I did want to just go ahead and address them now so that we can start clearing up some information. Is there any financial assistance available to retailers with compliance for this program? At this time, there are no available financial assistance from the state. There is no available financial assistance from the state. We do not have any resources to support retailers on this. Who is responsible for compliance and monitoring? As I stated, FNS is the one who currently monitors retailers for compliance with the SNAP program, and this will just be an added responsibility of Food and Nutrition Services. And it is that national policy, and so I encourage you to read that policy and understand that policy as we go into that July 31st start date. How do we tell if an item is compliant or not? Is there a list? There will not be a list published from the state of what is eligible or what is not eligible. It really will be based on that ingredients label. Is the item listed with sugar as the first ingredient, or in the case of a beverage, a carbonated plus sugar? And so it will be, that will be the way to determine if an item is compliant. And then, are you still able to purchase chocolate using SNAP benefits? And so we've gotten this question on a couple different items. We use the example of chocolate, but if you have a compound ingredient, some listed, we are truly saying FNS approved the definition that if sugar is listed first, or corn syrup or high fructose corn syrup, that has to be what's eligible. If it is not, if the first word is not chocolate, or if the first word is not sugar or high fructose corn syrup or cane sugar or corn syrup, then it is an eligible item. So in this case, the compound ingredient of chocolate is eligible. Can SNAP participants purchase infant formula with SNAP benefits? We did amend our waiver based on some great feedback that infant formula is eligible for purchase no matter the ingredients list with EBT SNAP card. So we do not want to prevent anybody from buying infant formula. And so therefore we have exempted infant formula from this pilot demonstration, and it is allowable under any circumstance to be purchased with SNAP EBT cards. And then finally, I addressed this a little bit earlier, but are sports drinks able to be purchased? And because as long as they are not carbonated, they will be eligible. So a Gatorade or a Powerade. I personally am not aware of any carbonated sports drink, but if they're out there, if there's a carbonated sports drink, then that has carbonated water and sugar or corn syrup as the second ingredient, then that would not be eligible. I know that we have shared as much information as we can in this webinar, and we'll be following up with more information. We'll be posting updates to our website as well. But I do want to say, if you have additional questions, please feel free to send those to our healthysnap.tdhs at tn.gov email so that we can address those questions. If we need to update our FAQ, we can do that, but we do want to make sure that you all have access to that inbox, and that you know that we're monitoring it. We may not get back to you immediately, but we will get back to you as soon as we can. So again, I want to say thank you for your time today, and thank you for your partnership in this. We are really excited, and we hope to relay out some really good information. So thank you so much, and we will see you all soon.